Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Guilford College Effect. This will be our first episode of the podcast. We hope you saw our intro video. My name is Connor Moran. I'm a freshman here at Guilford. I'm joined by my co-host,
Darius Fabiabassi. So like Connor said, this is our first episode, Sunday, April 16th, and we are so excited to show y'all what we have in store for not only this episode, but our podcast as a whole.
So we are super excited and thrilled to have our first guest with us, Joshua Wilson.
What's up, guys? Joshua Wilson, freshman at Guilford, theater student and education student.
So just tell us a little bit about you and
Okay.
your background.
A little bit about me. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I moved down to Greensboro just to come to Guilford. I've done theater all of my life, pretty much since around somewhere the third grade or something, when we all had to do it because it was a tiny school. They wanted to encourage theater. And
It just stuck.
about a decade and a half later, I'm paying money to do it in college.
What kind of theater do you do?
So I have recently started doing films.
Like what? Like what kind of genre?
A few, the one that I recorded a few weeks ago with Brandon Taylor and Miles Hines, who were the directors. They're both film students here. That was a little horror film that I recorded with them, and I'm currently doing another film with Brandon that we shot this morning. It was it's around 6:30 right now. I was up at 6:30 on set in the morning doing that, and I've been running all day since. But I love acting. I mostly do stage stuff. I'm working on a stage production right now that's going to be going up on Friday and Saturday, the 21st and 22nd. So
Awesome.
Where will that be?
that will be in Sternberger Auditorium, so right in Founders and to
That's
the
the one
right.
that's upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so if y'all are on campus, be
Yeah,
sure
try
to
to make it out.
check. Be sure to check out Josh's work. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
And so I know that you've just started up the Revelers Club again. Is that right?
Yeah. So, okay. One thing that I feel might be a thing. I'm not the sole leader of Revelers. As much as I appreciate the credit being thrown to me in that direction, there was a group behind it. Zoe Jordan was one of the people to help me get it back up and really to encourage me to go forward with it. Also, Blake Taylor, who was a professor here last semester. But I am directing the production that we're currently doing as the Revelers. It's called Stickfly, and it's a play about an upper-class black family set in 2005. And they're coming home to have a family reunion, and there's a bunch of melodrama and stuff like that, and it's a really powerful story that talks about a lot of different things between race dynamics and gender dynamics, and also family hierarchy and family dynamics. There's so much there, and I got to direct that production, and I'm also acting in it. So
Super cool.
Yeah.
Just I don't know why it stuck out. Does 2005 matter significantly, or because I'm that's 1 year after I was born.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I mean, it is the year that I was born.
There you go. Okay. All right, there it is.
Technically, this probably would have been taking place before I was born, but it's just that was the year the play was written in, and you can kind of tell by some of the conversation and some of the colloquialisms and the terminology used.
You want to give us a little insight? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so some of the conversations that and I don't want to spoil too much of the drama, but
Sure.
05 is when smartphones started becoming a thing, right? And one of the first things in the first scene is that my character is the only one there with a smartphone. And my younger brother in the show, who's played by EJ, he freaks out about me having a smartphone. And a few other things as well, a few terms that we don't really use anymore, just because not even big slang terms, just a few words that have kind of fallen out of the English, of our English throughout time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason that like '05 is necessarily important.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
But just think more modern.
Gotcha.
We're not looking back.
As opposed to like the 1800s.
Yeah, no,
or
we're
like, something like post-war kind of stuff. It's like,
No.
yeah, we're just like more modern than anything.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know Connor and I, we know Josh firsthand through our ethical leadership scholarship, and you can definitely see the leadership that is prevalent in all of Josh's work. I mean, just spearheading, reviving these clubs, you know, being in musicals, being an artist as well. It's just a lot to handle, and you've definitely shown that you can do all that while being a college student, even though it may seem difficult, you can do it. So if you just want to talk more about, like, I guess how ethical leadership plays a role in your work.
Yeah, they're just buttering me up because I'm on the podcast. No, I do appreciate it. Yeah, so I guess my philosophy when I got to college, which I kind of talked about in the article that they put on the website, which is a whole other thing. Like, that's a whole other thing to talk about. But, like, my philosophy coming into college was that, you know, like, you really have to make your experience your own.
Yeah.
Like, you are paying to be here. You are dedicating, even if you're not dedicating, like, even if you're here for a year, that's a year of your life.
Yeah.
And especially coming off the
It's a
pandemic.
big commitment. It really is a big commitment.
Like, you're putting time into being here. Like, make something out of it.
Yeah.
Like, find what you like doing. Look for things to do. And, like, that's what I really took up, especially with theater. Like, there's a production that I wanted to put on. So I went and I asked people if they wanted to do it. They said yes. We made rehearsal schedules that worked everyone's time.
I think it really just takes, you know, one thing that I've noticed is, like, you know, maybe in high school it was a little trickier. I went to a smaller high school still, but I know that Darius went to a massive high school. I don't know about you, Josh, but, you know, at a smaller school still, even, it was like, if you wanted something done, sometimes the answer was just too bad. Like, sorry, like, you know, it's not going to happen. But, like, especially being a part of the ethical leadership program, but just in Guilford in general, I believe that anybody, like, if you have the idea and you want to do it, go do it. Find the people and you're supported. And so I think that, you know, just taking those steps is big.
I think that, like, well, my high school was pretty big, almost bigger than Guilford, like, or as big as Guilford, if that's, like, and Guilford's a small college, so, like, we, like, how that compares.
Yeah.
Except my high school was one building, so we were kind of, like, pushed together, but yeah, no, it was, like, big, and there were definitely, like, opportunities to find what you wanted to do. The first time that I ever directed a play was at, like, my high school. Coming to Guilford was the first time that I decided, you know what, I am going to, like, the first time I directed in high school, I had 2 other co-directors, and I didn't pick the show, and granted, I did great work on it, it came out great, and I'm still, like, in contact with people that I did that show with. However, I had the, like, I loved Stick Fly as a play. I acted in it as a sophomore in high school. And I wanted to direct it, and I wanted a chance to, like, really make that show mine, and I knew that I could, and the only thing that would stop me was just, like, me not doing it, and I wasn't gonna, like, let myself do that.
Yeah. Right. I think that's one of the things that I've noticed, especially at being in Guilford, is, like, if something doesn't go through, sometimes, I mean, money's an issue at times, but, like, oftentimes it's just, like, if you stop. Like, if I have an idea and I've got support from faculty, staff, whoever, and I push for it and I keep at it, it's going to happen. And it's only going to fail if I stop.
And that's one thing that I want to say. Like, Beth Ritson, the head of the theater department, she gave me the theater, and she gave me the lights, and she gave me the space. And John, who's the technical director of our department, definitely, like, helped us, like, move the lights around and set some of that stuff up. But, like, pretty much everything that we did on our own. Like, costuming we did with our own clothes that we own at home. A lot of props are things that we just, like, took from places on campus. And, like, all of the promotion we did ourselves. And like I think that's just like it for me. Like as difficult of an experience as it was, the best part of it is that I got to have it and that I got to create this body of work with a really amazing group of people that we're gonna get to like share with an audience.
And you get to, you know, there's a part of it that's like the grind is what's great.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, and that's one of the things I also appreciate about Guilford too is like, you know, they provide you these things like, you know, Beth's provided you the space, the lights, the team, you know, John helped you with the lighting and everything. But like at the same time, it's not like they were spoon feeding you. They gave you what you needed, but then you had to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the great things about Guilford is they provide you what you need to start, and then they say, go.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. We're on the same page.
Exactly.
I was just going to say, it gives you that sort of independence that you need for transitioning from high school to college to the job world after. I don't want to say the real world because we've been in the real world, but like the job world, the workforce. You know, you need that source of independence to actually go out and do something on your own. And I love that Guilford offers you the supplies, but they don't tell you what to do or how to use them. They say, here's what you need to succeed, and it's up to you to figure out how you are going to succeed. I mean, just even taking it back to this podcast.
Right.
Like, Guilford has gave us the equipment and have just been like, here, go and do what you want to do, and just have inspired us. Yeah, exactly. And we are doing it. So,
you know, and it's great because it's like, especially with the podcast and what it seems like, it's very similar in the theater situation. Is like, they said, here's the microphones, here's a room. We asked for lights. They gave us lights because we thought we were going to video, but we backed off that idea. But they gave us everything that we needed to make a full like YouTube series podcast with microphones and professional equipment, and said go. And the thing is, I mean, I've asked certain people for opinions and everything, but I've not, you know, we don't have a professor of podcasting here who is like a master podcaster. Maybe we do and I don't know it, but like, you know, we don't have anybody that's a master of this. We have to figure this out. I mean, gosh, Darius and I spent hours in here just like reading, you know, not papers, but like articles and tutorials on like different mic settings and everything, and just trying to figure it all out. Yeah. And you know, and it's been a grind to get here, but that's what's been so awesome about it. Because if it was easy, it would be like, all right, great, I just got this handed to me.
I mean, that's almost like exactly like let's a random facet of theater that I've like picked up. Like for like I had no idea. I've never worked in like a lot of design aspects. So like costume design is something that like I've never really had to touch. And prop design is something that I've never really had to touch. And even in like set designing, like I've never really had to be the person, like I've just been the actor or I've just been the director. And like my directing for this production included me taking on like a lot more of like the design stuff and like other roles. And there was the, okay, well, we'll give you, like, you can go in this prop closet and you can use like our wardrobe if you want to, but like you're on your own, which was very challenging in some ways. But like I guess as I've like reflected on it more like recently, like I feel like sometimes I and like people in general have a tendency to like want help and to like feel like they need help. And I think that part of the beauty of doing Stickfly has been just like the only help that I've had in terms of like actually putting things together has been the group of people that I casted.
Right.
Like that's, and like a few like occasional people who I'll bring in to like look at something. But like all of it has been the 6 or 7 of us in that room. Like, how do we think that this should look? And what ideas do you have for a costume for this scene? And like, how do we feel about maybe pulling out this fridge instead of this one? Just, well, there are like 3 right here in this room. Which one do we want to pull out? And just like a lot of that's been one of the most like rewarding parts about this for me, just like putting it all together just with the group of people that I had, and you two like in the same way, getting the equipment and then being like, how can we make this work, how do we want this to run, which I really respect.
Thank you. Absolutely. You know, it's great because like there's a certain level of trust that they give in us. I mean, we're just freshmen. I mean, literally, like, I'm local, but y'all are coming from Baltimore and Culver City. Like, I mean, gosh, we're talking about 6 hours and
6 hour flight.
6 hour flight. By car, we're talking 2 days travel, like, at least. I mean, and they're just like, yep, here's all the stuff that you could ever need to be a podcaster. Have it. And it's like, wow, okay, this is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, so when I originally had my first meeting with Beth to set up doing a production in the spring, there was a lot of things that I had to convince her of, and a lot of things that, like, we had to talk about before I started doing it. So there was obviously, you know, like, the issue of like when would we schedule it with like other things that might be happening on campus, and then there was the issue of, do we want to put money into this, do we just want to like make it a thing that you do? And we had like an hour-long meeting which resulted in, we'll give you the space, we'll give you access to facilities, but besides that you're on your own.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember even at first kind of like thinking, okay, well, I know this is I'm on my own, but like, can I ask for help here? Or like, and then eventually it just became a thing of like, I just had to learn to do it myself. And I had the group of people that I had with me, and they were all amazing. Jay Dixon helped a lot with costumes. Zoe, we talked about earlier, helped a lot with like, assistant directing, and like everyone in that, like we as a group created that production,
right?
And I'm glad that I got to be the one to bring everyone together, and that I got to be the one to like pick the show and get my people. But we as a group and all of our time and efforts are the reason that the show is happening. And I could not be prouder of anyone involved in the show.
Yeah. I guess just for the sake of it, just one last time before we talk about your music and such, just when and where will your next project be, and how can you get there?
All right, so Stickfly will be taking place at 7 p.m. in Sternberger Auditorium at Guilford College, which is right in Founders Hall and to the right. It'll be free tickets, so you can just show up and come see the show. The house will be open at 6:30, and I'm gonna make a recommendation that y'all get there pretty much when the house opens.
Okay.
Because we're expecting pretty big audiences.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. Just based on the way that we've like promoted the thing and the way that we've like shared it around, and like we had the idea of like reaching out to like departments that we thought would be interested, like their students would be interested, and like clubs that might be interested, and just like sending them an email like, hey, we're doing this thing, like maybe you guys will want to come see it, you know, putting posters up, social media. We've done multiple events on campus to promote it. Most of the events on campus being like Zoe's idea, but like we're expecting really big audiences.
Nice.
And I really think that there's something for everyone to take out of Stickfly as a show. There's like a lot of things, like I learn a new thing every time I pick the script up. And I've had the play in my life for 3 years. I acted in it once, and now I'm directing it and acting in it a second time. Yeah. And there's still like new things that I recognize every time I read the script. So I think that coming to see it is a worthwhile experience for everyone.
Now, are you playing the same character, or are you changing?
So it's actually funny how that worked out. Originally, I wasn't going to act in the show. I was just going to direct, and that was it. But one of the actors ended up dropping out of the show, like, relatively early on. And then I decided to pick up that role. So I'm playing the brother of the guy I played, like, the first time I did the show. Okay. So my character's name is Flip. And when I first did the show, I played Flip's brother, Ken.
Gotcha.
So that was a fun thing, getting to like play almost like the opposite role while still getting to like direct and be hands-on with my original role.
Yeah.
I feel like that was almost my favorite part of doing this whole thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like you get a different connection because you can almost like I don't act very much, but like I feel like you almost like embody the character that you're acting as, and now you're like getting to embody the opposite character, but you already know how the other character like feels to an extent, not just how they are on paper. So like that's got to be a pretty dang cool thing to get into.
It makes it definitely more easy to direct that character. Sometimes it makes it hard not to be hard on the actor playing that character because you're like, oh, when I did this, this is what I did. But also like I get to be the director in it, so then I get to like have the say of like, oh, we did it this way this time. How about we try it? Like when I did it, how about we try it like in a different way?
Yeah.
It's a really fun experience getting to work next to EJ, who's playing Ken, and he's really good in the role.
Right. And it's great because you can come at it from the director's point of like you need to be very critical at times to make sure it's exactly how you want it, but at the same time you have the experience as his character, so you can say like, look, here's what I did when I did it, and this is what I did wrong. Here's what I did right, and you get to pick and choose what you want out of that.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool.
I think another interesting thing about Stickfly is that half of the cast, and I would almost argue that the three, it's an ensemble piece, so I wouldn't say like three main characters, but like the three most impactful characters in the show are being played by people who are acting for the very first time.
That's
super
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that was coincidence, but it was a really cool coincidence. And then myself, Zoe, and Chandler, who are playing still three very important characters, but like the three kind of more like less
secondary.
Crucial, and we're the actors. Like this is the 17th, like my 17th show ever.
Yeah.
Zoe's somewhere around that mark. Chandler's not too far behind us.
Yeah.
And it's EJ, Marley, and Juliana who are acting for the first time and like stepping up into the biggest roles of the show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've told them this before, and I guess they'll hear it here too. I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine being like. Is this your first time directing too?
First time directing on my own.
Okay, well, first time directing on your own, and just seeing it all culminate and come out how you dreamed of it, and I mean, I've never had anything close to that.
Yeah.
And I also think that one of the most beautiful things about it, and I might have to explain it to make it more sense, is that one of the most beautiful things about directing it is that everything isn't exactly how I envisioned it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. My directing philosophy and in general my leadership philosophy is that I can walk into a space with all of the ideas, but I will never act like I have all of the answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can walk into a rehearsal, and I did, with these long note sheets of here's how I think everything should look, and then we'll be in the middle of a scene, and then Zoe will make a choice, and I'm like, that's perfect, keep that. Or EJ will do something, and I'm like, why did I not think of that? And even in terms of costumes, of course not every single we didn't have the time or really need to design a bunch of costumes on our own. So every costume isn't exactly how I imagined it, but it's the show that we ended up with through a bunch of group collaboration and a bunch of rehearsal and a lot of work. And that's the really cool part to me. It's not the exact show I envisioned going on the stage. It's not even the exact cast that I originally had, but it's the cast that
you're working with. It's what you're getting.
Yeah, and it's the cast that deserves to be on that stage, and the cast that put a lot of work in.
Yeah, they've grinded with you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Darius kind of touched on it. So obviously we know it a little bit better than maybe the audience does. But so you're also a musician.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
a great musician.
Yeah, a great musician. I mean. I'm tempted to do the ad-lib, but I might let you do it. King Josh here. So, you just dropped an album, but this is not your first. Well, album, EP, whatever you want to call it, but this is not your first. You've got this one. You had Therapy Volume 1 and 2, maybe? Or have you done 2? But you're somewhere in there.
Yeah. So I get to kind of put on now the rapper hat.
Sure. Switch the hat over. Switch it over.
Yeah, so just released a project called Chronicles of Us, and it's a 6-song EP, 5 songs in the interlude, but it's 6 songs. It is technically my 3rd EP, and there are a few singles in between because the first one I released in 2021 was Rainy Days. And I guess if I'm to talk about how I got into music, at the time when I started writing music, we were in lockdown. I was in one of the worst mental spaces of my life. Like, things were really rough. I was going through a lot of different things at that time. And I had a friend, Khalil, who makes music as Akil. We've now got 3 songs out together. He made music, and he kind of like got me into it. He got me into writing, and then one day he just gave me a call and was like, "Yo, come to the studio. Just pull up, and we'll record something." And that was the day that I recorded my first song.
That's awesome. Which one?
It was Standards, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard that one. I didn't know.
It was off of Rainy Days, and then as I've continued to progress with music, I've really seen it as, I think the music is a beautiful art form, and I think that music is a beautiful look into other people's lives and experiences that are like different than your own, and experiences that you might relate with. And I think that the most important thing for me is just to be me in whatever I'm doing. Like, I'll never release a song that I think is disingenuous, the same way that I would never write a movie or play or act in a role that feels disingenuous to me. Like, the most important thing about my art is that it feels like a piece of me, and it feels like I'm sharing something into the world.
What was it that Cole said? He was like, what is it, like, instead of capping, why don't you talk about being a broke rapper?
Yeah.
That's a perspective I can respect because it's real.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like that. I think Cole said it well, but even what you're saying there, that's exactly what he's talking about. Is like, you know, if I as a you know, upper middle class guy start rapping about getting it out of the mud, and making it out the trenches, and, you know, like, keeping an eye on me because I'm scared of the ops all the time. Like, it's
just
not
like, genuine.
Come on, it's not me.
Yeah, and
like,
granted, here's the thing about me. Like, I did grow up in Baltimore, and in a lower class neighborhood in Baltimore. I'll never act like I had like the toughest upbringing by any means, but like, it definitely wasn't the easiest.
Yeah.
But even like talking about that stuff, like it's so easy to just make a song that has no meaning and is fun to dance to and is fun to, and I've made songs like that. But it's so rewarding and so real to me to make a song that focuses on like things that I'm going through, or just to like write a song about something that I'm going through, or something that I've been through, or something that I'm thinking about, and get to record it and let people hear it and like resonate with it. And like, I think that one of my most rewarding moments as a musician was, there was one day I was just laying in bed. I think that this was like a few months ago, and I got a text from my friend, and he was like, "Yo, dude, not gonna lie, it's been a rough day, but like, I've been listening to Time Heals like all day, and it's really helped." And I was like, "Wow, it's just crazy the impact that we can like have on
song.
people."
Yeah. That's a really good. I love that. I mean, when I first got here, and I was like in my like fake King Stan phase, and I was like fangirling over you. I'd be like, you know, I'd pull up to class or whatever, and I'd be like, have it blasting.
He did do that.
I mean, like, genuinely, it was like, you know, the first time I heard it, I would think you had just sent like, it was a clean song because I was trying to play it on the radio station.
Yeah.
But, you know, I heard it and it was like, wow, it's actually a really deep song, and I really, you know, I enjoyed that song. I mean, and then I learned how to play it, and we did our little live performance of it that one day. That was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, kind of building off of what Connor said, like, I have buddies at home that make music, and I listen to support them. And then, but when I listen to your music, I'm not listening to like, oh, this is my buddy's song. I'm listening to it because I'm like, damn, this is like actually like good, and I have it on my playlist. Like, it's not like, oh, here's like some guy from home, he just released one. Yeah, he's one of my day ones, so I'm gonna listen to it and like promote it. But it's like when I listen to Josh's stuff, like I can actually resonate with like what he's talking about, and like you can actually like feel the lyrics, and like it just hits you deeper than a normal song would, because you can tell that he cares about what he's writing about, and you can tell that it's actually genuine.
I'm blushing over here, guys. No, but that's the goal. Like with Time Heals, the story behind that, I mean, it's pretty apparent in the song. It was like, I think that I wrote this the first time that I told, well, my now ex that I like loved her. And I wrote that song in like 30 minutes. And there was one day that I was in the studio and I was just like messing around with some guitar riffs, and then I started thinking of like, oh yeah, I wrote this thing a little while ago, and then Time Heals. The project that I just released. So, of the projects that I've released, Rainy Days, first project, intro project.
Rainy Days has which song on it? Is that
That's
Time
Go
Heals?
Mode.
Go Mode.
That's Go Mode.
That was one of the first songs that I heard.
I think that's the song that like everyone is just like, it's just, and I made it to be the song. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, you can tell because it's supposed to be the cover song. It's like, don't you hear Go Mode? It's like, man.
Oh God, the amount of times, the fact that this has happened more than twice, where I've just been in the car with one of my friends, they're on their Spotify going through their liked songs, and then Go Mode will come on, and I'm just like, oh brother, and they'll just like scream my verse at me, and I'm like, I know, guys, I wrote it.
That verse is hard.
It is very tough.
Didn't you write Akil's verse too? Is that what you said or something?
I wrote the chorus.
You wrote the chorus.
Yeah. Akil wrote it. The story behind that song is even crazier, because Akil wasn't supposed to be on the song at first.
That's right. That's what you told me.
Yeah, because I'm in the studio, and even my verse was like different. Like my first verse, like the final version is different than the original one that I wrote. But I had plans to just do it by myself. I was in the studio. The energy was there. We were getting into the song, and then Khalil was like, "Yo, let me put a verse on this." And then he starts getting ready for a verse, and then I'm like, "Okay, well, if he's gonna be on here, then I gotta like." I gotta go with him, and then I don't rewrite my entire verse, but like I add something to like name drop him with, and like I rearrange a few things, and then we just come out with.
Is that where the Birdman and Wheezy from?
Yeah.
It was like King and Akil. We like Birdman and Wheezy.
Yeah. I was like, because I just came up with that. I was like, yeah, King and Kill, like Birdman. Yeah, it was like But yeah, Rainy Days was the first project in like August 2021, and then I released something in like May 2022, 3 songs, Therapy Volume 1. At the time, like, it was crazy because all 3 of those songs came from different studio sessions at different times in my life, and I was going through different things. And then I was like, these songs just like belong together, and these songs themselves like create a narrative. And then I started writing Chronicles of Us, which is the new release. And Chronicles of Us, Therapy Volume 1, and I guess to spoil my future music, there's a Therapy Volume 2 coming. Hopefully by the end of the year. No promises.
Okay. I'm gonna hold you to it.
You're getting a Therapy Volume 2 at least. I'm gonna say by the end of the year.
For sure. We've talked about this a little bit. I mean, maybe if it works out, and we can get me in there on on a verse. Maybe to spin a little bit. But at the same time, to be truthful, like my experiences are very different from yours. So like if you drop a verse about like something that's happened to you, and I come on just trying to talk about like, man, I'm sad. Like, it's not going to be the same, because it's like I can't relate to like this whatever heartbreak or whatever you went through, and I was like, maybe the guitar solo though. Dude, that's what I'm thinking. The guitar solo coming in on there. Yeah,
I could drop some mean ad libs. I'm not as musically gifted, but I have a way with ad libs, I guess.
Let me tell you guys the story of Wasn't Gonna Leave. So Wasn't Gonna Leave is the second of 3 songs that I have with Akil. The third one being this song that we made called Attack on Titan. But Wasn't Gonna Leave. So I remember I was home for which break? I want to say Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving because you called me.
Thanksgiving break. I was home for Thanksgiving break, and me and Khalil, we decided to have a studio session. So I pull up with like my keyboard and nothing. I hadn't written anything. Khalil pulls up and he's like, I mean, I've got something that we might be able to work with. And then I give him the keyboard and he's just like, oh yeah, the beat is made in like 10 minutes. And I'm like, wow. And then I get in the verse and I'm just like, all right, or in the booth and I'm just like, all right, let's just try and get through a verse. And then they just ended up clicking so well that I called them and I was like, I'm putting this on Chronicles of Us. Like, I have to. And that was the reason that Chronicles of Us kind of came. Well, I gave it time before before the release, but once I had fully finished with Wasn't Gonna Leave, that was like the I need to release more music point.
Yeah.
And then that's when we got the project.
Well, no, we've talked a little bit about, some ideas that we have for you and I trying to collab and everything, and it just hasn't worked out yet. But I mean,
we're just busy people.
Yeah, we got 3 more years. I mean,
Yeah.
and we did drop one.
Yeah,
that's the SoundCloud A3M. Check it out.
It's something.
It's something that's under.
I'll just say.
I'll say that was not King.
Yeah,
that was Guilford student Joshua Wilson.
and I will say, not King. Guilford student Joshua Wilson definitely has the hardest bars out of Connor, Josh, and I because I didn't really listen to the beat when I was making my bars, so it's kind of off beat. But their work is solid. Mine not so much.
That's all objective.
I don't know, man. Stuck my finger in the outlet, felt a big jolt. It's pretty hard.
You really have a way with the words there.
I really do.
I think that one of the best things about Guilford is that it just encourages community in a way like that, where literally I was sitting in my philosophy class, getting an email from these two, and they're like, let's make a song. And I'm like, guys, are you for real? And then like 2 days later, we're in this exact room that we're recording this podcast in. And
well, I think even the best part is like I'm like, guys, we should make a song, and Darius is like sending 14 fire emojis, like heck yeah, let's do this. What should we write it about? And you email like, wait, are you serious? And then like a minute later, I send the first verse, and because I wrote it in like I was typing away during being taught about probably deontology or utilitarianism. Shout out Marius.
Great professor.
Great professor.
Amazing,
Seriously.
great guy.
But I'm half. We're talking about this, and I'm typing an email, and I'm spitting my bars, whatever, and it just starting to talk about whatever philosophy I can think of, and just writing it, and you send back. You're like, you're kidding, right? And then Darius sends the beat. He's like, I've got it. We're in this.
Yeah. I went on YouTube and I searched up Angry Birds trap beat, and that was how we got our beat.
Whole time in the email, I'm just like, I cannot believe you two. And then I did it with them. So,
yeah, man. And then we pulled up, dropped it, recorded it. We edited some bars and recorded it in one night.
Yeah.
And now it's on SoundCloud, so you can find that. What is it? The Real Connor's Awesome 87.
The Real T-Buddy 32.
Yeah, man. The Real King Joshua 69. Yeah, you know it. That's under that. But anyway, back to King, not Guilford student Joshua.
Yeah.
all right.
But I guess just before we get to that, in that weird roundabout way that we just talked about, it emphasizes the value of community at Guilford because, I'm going to be honest, I don't think at any other school I would just be like, yeah, boys, let's make a song. And it's just
be serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you might get together with your guys and be like, yo, we about to spit tonight. It's going to be fun, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, you all end up just doing whatever.
Yeah.
We got to the studio, we're like, we're doing this now. Yeah. And it was I bet. You want to go? Do it. And we
if I'm lying about this, I came around the corner and these guys were recording a cover of "See You Again" by Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa, and I was like,
I forgot about that.
And then we just recorded that. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna call my shot for next year. I'm gonna Babe Ruth my shot for next year.
All right, let's see this.
My goal for next year. I spent my freshman year putting together an entire theater production.
Right.
My sophomore year, I want to get a bunch of musicians on campus because there are a lot of people on campus that make music and release music.
Right. I need to get in there.
Yeah. my goal is to make a group of all of us where we can function as our own almost like record label.
Like Dreamville.
In a way.
That would be sick.
Can you imagine?
Exactly.
Guilfordville. No, let me stop.
Quakerville. Just imagine.
G Valley.
we all like promote each other's music and we give each other features and we can even throw like events and like concerts and like we can like have our own sets.
I think what Cole did with Dreamville is dope.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, especially coming out of, well, I mean, Cole's just Cole. There's no one like him, but like, you know, even giving people the chance. Like, I think that, like, what's his name, Murray, who dropped, what's the song called? What did he drop?
My Life with J. Cole.
My Life, but then his solo song.
Quicksand.
Quicksand was the big one that pushed him
yeah.
off. I mean, like, I think that song could have made pop charts on its own.
Yeah.
But then Cole producing it and then him dropping, what's it called? Hold on.
Yeah, he released a lot of stuff, and like he released some stuff with Polo G.
I have no idea.
Like,
Hold on, I gotta find it out. But yeah, I think like even with him being like that, Cole being able to like promote him just because he's from North Carolina too, allowed for him to you know, make it way bigger than he would have before.
Yeah, and my thing is like, why isn't it possible for us to just like all have a group chat where we can just like help each other promote our own stuff, and I can go in and be like, hey, I'm working on this song, what do you guys think of it? Or like, would one of you guys want to hop on this?
Right,
or,
we could do that. I mean,
yeah.
I mean now we're brainstorming, but
an even bigger thing that I had an idea for is why stop at just music?
Absolutely.
I know people who make films, and I know people who want to act in films. Let's get them connected.
Exactly.
I know people who do fashion and stuff like that. People who model.
If you ever need any film expertise, I did take Film 1 at my high school for our credit, so I'm very qualified.
You know, and the song was Quicksand, or not Quicksand, Big Decisions by Murray. That's what I was thinking of. That's a good song. But no, I mean, like, you're totally right there because, like, I mean, and those go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you said you started with music and then it was, like, film and then it's, like, fashion and then whatever. But, I mean, like, shoot, music videos, all three.
Exactly.
You got people wear clothes in most music videos. Not all of them. But, I mean, someone's got to film. The people in there, they're going to be wearing clothes. That's fashion. And then someone's got to write the music. Or if it's just, like, a film, not even just a music video, but just like a film of some kind, and it's like a story, like background music can be composed. Some people like to do instrumental stuff. Like I'm not as good with words, but like I know how to write music.
Yeah.
So like I can do that, and then like like that could just collab with, or someone like you're really good with words. I'm really good with making music. Like that's why we're gonna collab someday. Like those two together with a soundtrack plus like a verse from you or something, along with like the film and the art, and I mean it could just go all together really well.
Yeah. Like if anyone has seen Creed 3, Dreamville did the soundtrack for that, and like I don't understand why like let's just say that like someone wanted to like spend a year making a movie and like trying to film a movie. I don't understand why we couldn't get a group together and be like, okay, these are a bunch of people who do theater who have time and willingness to act in a film. We're a few musicians, let's throw you together some songs, maybe look for a soundtrack.
Right.
So that way you don't have to worry about royalties because we'll just make it all ourselves and you can be in the room with us. These people do fashion, hey, let's do some costume design. Like, what could you wear for these scenes? And like, there are so many things that I think we can do as a community of Guilfordians if we all just commit to like putting our heads together and being like, I want to do this. Who on campus is down to be a part of this?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will say they are.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about Guilford too, being so small. 1,200 people. I mean, someone asked me the other day on a tour, they were like, do you think you could meet everybody? And I said yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think for sure. I mean, like, not that I'm going to be close with everybody, but, like, I think I can meet every single person that goes here. Like I said, not close, but, like, some sort of connection. Like, know a face, know a name or something, but, like, just... That's one of the crazy things about Guilford, and it's valuable.
It's like, I don't want to sound weird, but, like, honestly, one of my favorite people on campus is this dude that is like 2 rooms down from my room in Milner, and our interactions are just like, what's up, how you doing, like, you know, just like genuine like small talk, but it's like every time I talk with him, like my day actually is better because it's just like, hey, how you doing, just checking in on you, oh, nice haircut, blah blah blah. And it's just like, at my high school, like if you just like went up to people would just be like, yeah, what do you want from me, like what are you trying to get out of me, like you know, they're looking at you differently. But here it's like, people are genuinely kind and just like want to get to know you. So I just feel like it's much different than other places.
I almost never go outside and don't recognize anyone.
Yeah.
You know, like
I almost always see somebody,
Yeah.
whether it's going to Rachel's, just walking to class.
yeah, it's a really cool thing. Like, I'll just be walking around campus and then like I'll run into like, I don't know, like Liz Nicholson. Or I'll just run into, like, I don't know how many times this semester I've just run into Kyle Farmbury just walking around campus, and we've just, like, had a conversation.
Yeah,
the last time I saw Kyle, he, like, congratulated me on my article and then was, like, asking me things about it because, like, he went out, he took the time to read it.
Yeah.
It's just, Guilford encourages a really nice community vibe, and I think that as students, and especially as an artist, and someone with interest in so many different forms of like art, we can do something really cool. And that's what I like to try and promote through like leadership. Like, look, we can like whatever we want to do as Guilford students, we have the resources, or if we don't have them ourselves, there are people here that will give them to us.
Absolutely.
We have space. There's a lot of places that like here and around where you can like film or go to do things. And there are a lot of people here who, if you ask them to, will help you.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's one of the things that I try to, as a tour guide, I try to sell that to people a little bit. Like, because I'm also not a liar. Like, I don't like to, I don't get on tours. And yes, I sugarcoat things a little bit. But like when I'm sugarcoating things, it's like things that I actually like love. Like, I sell the hell out of the telescope on Frank. Like, I walk by, I'm like, this is the second largest in the state. It's dope. If you get to come here, go to see it.
It's amazing.
If you have a community thing, go do it. Like, it's so awesome. And like, yes, I sugarcoat it, but like, it's super cool. I love the telescope. I think it's one of the coolest parts of our campus.
Yeah.
And like, I tell people like, like with learning and writing centers, like, yeah, we have free tutoring, which is great because we're writing intensive. But that shouldn't scare you because like everyone here wants to help you.
Yeah.
People aren't just like, we're not writing intensive just to scare people off and only produce the best of the best students. It's like we're writing intensive because we know it helps you and we want to help you get there. So
I think that like there's never been a time with an assignment or with an extracurricular or with anything where I've been like completely lost on something and haven't been able to get pointed in the right direction, like one way or another.
absolutely.
Everyone is here to help, and if they cannot help you, they will find someone that will be able to help you.
Yeah. Like I remember one thing going back to Stick Fly is that I remember I went to Beth and I was like, I might need like a couch and an armchair, and she was like, well, why don't you like go see if you can get storage, like stuff from storage. And she gave me one person's email to like shoot an email to, and I got a response from that person the same day, giving me a different person's email and being like, yeah, here's like, I'll give you this person's information, but you can use all this stuff, schedule a time to come take it. And then I ended up getting the exact couch I wanted and the exact like chair that I wanted, just because like I got pointed in that right direction.
Yeah.
I think that kind of speaks to what I was saying earlier about like you gotta follow it, because like you totally could have stopped after that first person was like, sorry, I can't help you. But here's the email, and you could have just been like, too much work.
Yeah.
If you follow that second email and it's only one more email and you've got everything you wanted. I think that speaks to the idea of like, it's there if you get it. You just have to you just have to work a little bit. You're not going to get spoon fed, but it's there.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say like, we've touched on music, we touched on theater. Your majors are, let me see, theater, education, and philosophy minor.
Philosophy
right?
minor, yeah.
What's your hope to do with that after everything?
So my goal is to my absolute like best of the best scenario is that I get into like film and movie, like TV and movie acting,
like Hollywood.
And then also get into like directing, producing, writing my own stuff, and like writing stuff for other actors and other people. And like kind of be like in a Donald Glover position where it's like
Yeah.
I can like do it all and like I can do what I feel like doing and what's speaking to me at that time.
He's a great example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great
That
example
is,
of that.
yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
comparison.
And then I'd like to like when I'm ready to retire from all that, I would like to teach, and I'd like to teach.
What age?
I'd like to teach like high schoolers
Yeah.
or like college students. My goal is to expand access to the arts in like underprivileged and underdeveloped communities.
That's awesome.
Because like as someone from a lower income neighborhood in Baltimore, I'm lucky that I had theater and that I had art, and that for me specifically it wasn't just athletics and it wasn't
Yeah.
just basketball or like gang life or anything.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people it was.
Yeah, that's all they have.
And for a lot of people, it still is. And I think that if we start to expand art into those communities and at least like show people like, look, there is more to life, and there is more that you can do and more that you can be than just like these things. I think that that'll really be helpful, and that's what I'd like to like. That's my like goal. Even while I'm still, doing like Hollywood stuff, and while I'm still like filming and directing, I would still like to establish like theater programs in schools that don't have them, and I'd still like to travel and like do workshops with kids to like introduce them to like the arts and to theater and things like that.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like, I mean, we talked during the 3 week. I mean, you did your project on LeBron, which is
Yeah.
but not like LeBron James basketball
Yeah.
player, like incredible. Like it was like LeBron James, philanthropist, businessman, built in like the Promise School and stuff like that. I think that's something that's like kind of what you're looking for in the same
You're
way.
showcasing how to like use your platform to
If I can go into a community of like schools that don't have theater, run workshops for like, let's just say 300 kids, and out of those 300 kids, 10 of them decide that that's what they want to do, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that gives them like something to pursue, and something like once I realized that I wanted theater to be once theater was something that I just stopped doing for fun, something that I really wanted to pursue, like I got really into it, started taking more classes, learning more about it, and I was lucky enough to be able to do that and giving other people opportunities to do that as well, and then for them to maybe do the same thing that I want to do in terms of like expanding it even more. That would make me feel like amazing about the work that I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as I definitely aspire to do all the Hollywood stuff and all of the big stuff, I genuinely think that I would like forego all of that if it meant that my end goal of expanding art and expanding access to theater could be accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like some people choose to do things that are going to make them a lot of money, but they're not happy. And if that's the life that you want to chase, fine. Not you specifically, but some people choose to go be cardiologists and make bank and just stock up money, and they retire at 50 and they live the rest of their life. And they've got 50 till death to be happy.
Yeah.
But, and then there's some people who choose a balance, do a job that they love but do things on the side. But then, there's what you're talking about there. It's like, some people choose to pursue their passions. Some people choose to if I was going to do that, there's a chance that I'd be like an admissions counselor for the rest of my life, just like working with people at Guilford, bringing them in because I love what I do already. Like I would love to do that, but like I'm not going to do that. But like what you're saying is like if you could have the opportunity, that's like a super cool choice and way to live. So
yeah, I think it is. I think that like in my personal opinion and how I'm looking at my future and my life, I just think that the most like the thing that I would be able to look back on and be like, I took like my one chance at this life and made the most out of it, is being able to say like I was able to like really touch and really help a lot of people, and I was able to give back, and that I was able to like create things that matter and help people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have anything else you want to talk about, or we want to wrap it up there? Your choice, man.
I mean, thank you guys for having me on
Absolutely.
the podcast.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you all as the listeners for listening. Come see Stick Fly April 21st, April 22nd, 7 p.m. Sternberg Auditorium, and it's free.
Yeah, I definitely will be there if I'm on campus.
Yeah. If I've got the time, I already told you, man. If I'm here, I will be there at 6:29.
Come meet the host of the Guilford College Effect.
Yeah, I mean, I heard they're pretty cool people.
I did.
I
I heard something through the wire. They said they're pretty dope guys.
Yeah,
so.
I heard that Joshua Wilson kid, that guest that's on the podcast too. I heard he's really cool as well. So y'all should definitely go out.
You can get a signed autograph from King.
Yeah.
I will sign autographs after the show. That is what people want.
I will be in line waiting.
I'll be first. I'll have my King CD. So I bootleg your music and connect the CD and you sign it. Yeah, man. All right. Well, thank you for like I said. Thank you for coming. It's been awesome to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for listening. It's been an awesome first episode. I think this could not have gone better had we planned it. Yeah, so this episode, like I said, or like Darius mentioned, it's Sunday, April 16th. Hopefully this episode will be live in a few days. Go see Stick Fly. Go see it on Friday. It'll be awesome. Like we've said before, if you have any more questions for us, you can email us. Our email is the Guilford College Effect with an E, at gmail.com. So the Guilford College Effect at gmail.com. You can also check out our website. The link is bit.ly/GCE, all caps, lowercase, website. From that link, you can find our Instagram, Facebook, and everything. And by this point, whenever you guys are hearing this, that website will be updated. I'm going to throw up Josh's links for his music, that article that we mentioned, and just some links for everything. So I guess that's going to be it for everybody for our first episode. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming. And like Connor said, if you want to be featured on the podcast, please check out our website and you guys can find the info from there. So thank you again for listening.
We're going to leave you guys out with Josh's song, Wasn't Gonna Leave, from his new album, Chronicles of Us.
I'm gonna go away. Wasn't gonna leave. But it hurts to take in the air you breathe out. Comes all my insecurities with ease. Monoxide, suicide on E. I'm gonna go away. Don't call, won't pick up the phone today. Love shouldn't hurt, no way. There's way too much that I want to say. Can't breathe you in like nicotine, you poison my lungs. When we shared a bed, you would curse me with your tongue. Curse me out and kick me out, you did that. Key to message in my car is matte black. You told your friends I'm toxic, I'm honest to God. This love ain't real as you promised. You have a pattern of hurting me. Baby, if you love me, then just let me be. Every time that you up and leave me, I just start to wish you could beat me. So that for a day you could feel what I feel. Oh baby, I know that I'm better without you, but my body loves it around you. Someone wake me up, please.
This cannot be real.
Yeah. Wasn't gonna leave. But it hurts to take in the air you breathe out. Comes out my insecurities with ease. Monoxide, suicide on E. What did it mean? When you told me all those pretty things. Confess your love like some bitter pain. Was it in vain? When you called me old little diamond ring. Pick it up. Hello. But all I hear is tears on your face that I would never wash away. But I'll still say to you, wasn't gonna leave. But it hurts to take in the air you breathe. breathe out comes out my insecurity.